As I was sitting in my room in my straitjacket in the corner of my room, I remembered another story. Now, this story is more like creepy than like more of my fun stories that I usually have in my life. And yes, this does involve torturing me, but this is also pretty scary because given the fact that I could have not woken up from this. Yes, sleep paralysis, if you do not know what it is basically the state of mind where, like, you wake up, but you cannot move and, like, you have hallucinations and everything. And simply the word sleep paralysis triggers me because I have it mostly every night, which is why I'm awake at currently 3 o'clock. Well, actually, it's 3:35 in the morning, but yeah. Even the word sleep paralysis triggers me really much, so this is more of my creepy stories, and now I have to be quiet so that I wouldn't wake anyone up in the house. And now I'm gonna start talking about the events that I think that led up to this, because this is legit not just a sleep paralysis. I think this is like has more of a deeper meaning, and like I still remember about it, and like it still gives me the chills. And I wanted to share it with you guys because I love all of you, everyone who has subscribed to my channel, and all of you new people that are on my channel. You are all really cool too. You're watching this video. That's what makes you amazing. So, the events that I've been doing the day before the sleep paralysis, which is, no, it's actually the day of the sleep paralysis, is what I meant to say. I meant the night before. So, what I've done is, I was out with my friends, and that's when I was, like, really into paranormal things. And this all happened back in 7th grade, but I was really, really into paranormal things. Like, I thought that the school was haunted and everything, and, like, I found ways to, like, and, like, legit, it was really weird. And then my friends and I decided that one day, we should do the whole Bloody Mary thing. Except what we did is we went to the bathroom, we turned on the lights, we turned on hot water, put candles, and then we chanted Bloody Mary 3 times in the mirror, like usual, right? And then we hear, like, stuff opening and closing, and, like, everyone was near me except one dude was right by the lights, and then we're like, throw it on, throw it on. And as soon as we throw on the lights, we're like, oh, Bloody Mary has osteoporosis, she's a cancerous little slut. Oh, Bloody Mary, no wonder she's dead, and, like, we started ripping on her. And then, like, afterwards, we did another thing, and as soon as we flicked on the lights, there was, like, something standing behind us. And, like, as we turned around, there was nothing there, and we turned back to the mirror, it all disappeared. And now I'm currently looking around my room because I'm legit scared for my life of telling this story. Okay, so listen. Because I did not want this to happen again. But listen, so then, like, we turned off, did the whole thing, and ripped a couple of other times until, like, the end of, I don't know, the end of lunch as we had back then. It was really fun. We did that, and then plus we also played with a real Ouija board, which was really fun. And then it said that I was gonna have a horrible tragedy that night, which is actually what happened. And another thing is, like, we had, like, little ghost detections, and, like, we did all these, like, paranormal things. Right, so then I come home, and back then I used to have a giant ass mirror right in front of me, and it was creepy too. So, like, the mirror that I had back then was, like, right in front of my bed, and as I was falling asleep, I was getting, like, really scared. Like, I had chills. I'm like, uh-oh, what have I done? What have I done? There's a mirror in my room. And, like, I've never noticed the mirror before, but, like, it was there. Okay, and next, afterwards, what has happened is... Hold on, it's just, my room is weird right now. So, then what has happened later is, as I'm falling asleep, right? So I'm trying to stay awake. And then, it's 12 o'clock, right? Well, it's not 12, it's just a little bit under 12. And my mother calls me to help, right? So I just walk up to her, I help her and whatnot, and then I check the time, it's exactly 12, right? So then I go to bed and fall asleep, and I'm like, oh, please let me stay awake. And then immediately what happens afterwards is I fall asleep. Or, quote unquote, fall asleep. Oh my gosh. My body is right now chilling really badly. And I feel a presence in my room. That's not good. Alright, so listen up. So, as I was doing this whole thing, I fell into a sleep paralysis, and this is like sort of like what happened. This is the first one. I had many sleep paralyses that night, and also I'm gonna get to the whole dimension thing later on. So, I am laying down there in bed, and then like I wake up and I realize I couldn't move. I try to move, I try to scream. Nothing seemed to work, and so I just laid there and took it, and then I saw like shadows shifting in my room. In fact, this one creepy one like was like with white eyes just standing there for like a good minute, just like I'm staring back at it, it's staring back at me, and like we're just like having this weird eye contact. And I felt like my life was in danger, like legit, it was so scary. And then after a minute it started moving. And then as it gets to my bed, it sort of like sinks into the ground really fast while continuing to stare into my eyes. And that's when I wake up from the sleep paralysis and I pull over my phone. I quickly download the flashlight app and I quickly download the Bible app. And then like saying Jesus' like things and whatever. And then I flashed the light all over my room. And then I fell back asleep, right? Except this is not sleep. Oh my gosh, my eyes are right now tearing up from the memories. Alright, and not in a good way, so listen. And this may not sound as scary as when I say it, but when it was happening, it's some scary stuff. Okay, so this is how it goes. So, I'm over there just like chilling with some dudes, right? Scary part is, the dudes that were there, I did not know at the time, but I know them now, and plus there's a couple of 3 other ones that I do not know currently. But back then, like, what happened is, they're, like, the dudes that I know now, for example, my friend, well, one of my friends, then my friend Brian, then some other dudes, like, there's at least 10 people in there, and I know at least 6 of them now, and, like, from last year. So, like, that's what happened, but all we're doing is just standing there chilling until one of the people that I don't know immediately screams, "Run, run, he's coming for us." And then, like, worst part is, I was conscious, like, I was there, except it wasn't lucid dreaming, as many of you might say, but it's, like, complete consciousness, and, like, doing the whole dream thing, and, like, making everything disappear, and, like, waking yourself up, and whatever. I tried to wake myself up. I legit not cut off my arm, but, like, I grabbed, like, a knife, and, like, I stabbed my arm in this so-called dream, and, like, immediately when he said that, and I saw this giant shadow, like, the world was colorful, and, like, this shadow was, like, turning everything black and white, and, like, coming towards us, like, it was really weird. It looked like something from House on Haunted Hills, like, towards the end. And so immediately what I do is I see it, and then I'm like, and like it kind of reminded me of deja vu, like, it's like you were doing the exact same thing at the exact same time. That's what that is. And so I was over there standing, and immediately I started running, and I was running, and I was like panting, like, and I was conscious, and I knew I was awake. But like, it was really, really weird. Then I grabbed a knife, and I stabbed my arm really, like, in the, like, the top of my wrist, not, like, on the bottom of my wrist, but, like, on the top of my hand. And so I stabbed there, and I felt it, and, like, the pain was sharp, and, like, of course I knew I was gonna wake up. Then I splashed myself with water. Nothing worked. No matter what I did not wake up. I was trying for, like, a good many times to wake up, and then this weird shadow thing comes up, and it's like, you will never wake up. You'll never wake up from this. You're stuck with us. And that triggered me really bad, because that's when I, like, started running, and, like, running with all my friends and whatever. And one of my friends was actually sucked into this shadow thing, and, well, so-called case, now he's actually dead in real life. But so while I was there, I was, like, standing there, and, like running away from this, like, panting. It's like I was all conscious and everything, and I'm like, oh crap, this is not a dream. And then immediately, like, as I'm doing everything, it's like this shadow thing gets me, and, like, doesn't suck me in, but then it's like, oh, like, tells me to look, and then, like, some of my friends are, like, screaming for me no, like, to come back. And then I'm in my room, right? Immediately as the shadow thing takes me, I'm in my room, and I'm looking down at my body. So I'm looking at my body, and there's, like, this weird little silver cord thing attaching me to the body, and there's, like, shadow just trying to bite it off or whatever. I know I sound like a little 12-year-old right now, but hey. But seriously, they were, like, trying to bite it off, and they were, like, screaming, no, I'm taking over the body, no, I'm taking over the body. and like this thing is like, you are now a part of us. Find yourself a new body, and like doing all this stuff, and like I was trying to run. I ran outside. Like at the time, like I was outside of my house, and it was all really weird, and like I saw my family sleeping, and like except my brother, he was like playing on his, what we used to have back then were like those 3DSs, and like he was playing on those. And then the next morning, of course, I asked him if he was on 3DS last night, and he's like, yes I was, how'd you know? And I'm like, don't ask. And then immediately it's like saying that that I'm never gonna come back to my body. And then so what I did is I went to a body which was now my friend's, and then like I was in his body, and then immediately I woke up, I looked in a mirror, and like I was in his body. It was so weird. And then I went to like do whatever I could for like a good 5 minutes, then I exited that body, and he's now a good friend of mine. Like, yeah. So immediately what happens next is I go back to my body, and then immediately what happens is like I get sort of like smacked across the face, and then I get up, and as soon as I get up from this whole so-called dream, what happens is, wow, I know I'm saying what happens way too often, but I'm right now just trying to think. So, as I was saying, I see like eyes, and it's like staring at me from like the corner of my room. And it's not just like those little white things that you see, it's legit human eyes just sitting staring at me there. And I was 100% awake, and then immediately I grab my phone flashlight, flash it out there, the eyes close, and then I get up, I just go to the bathroom, just like to wash my face to wake up somewhere, because I was not planning to sleep that night at all. And then of course the thing in the so-called dream said, do not fall asleep tonight, and whatever. And then so what happens next, oh my gosh, I should really stop saying that, is I go check the clock, and keep in mind, I said I fell asleep at exactly 12 o'clock, right? Guess what? It was only 12:01, and the whole thing felt like years have passed. Whereas it was only 12:01, and it was so creepy. I'm like, wait, what happened? And then immediately the next day, my grandma started talking about this woman that has fallen asleep since she was 12 and woke up only when she was like 58. But then she looked still like she was 12, but aged really fast in this couple days, and she said that she had almost the exact same thing I had. And then I'm like, what? And then I told my grandmother about this, and she extremely nervously started looking at me like, hey, no, whatever you do. And I'm like, what did they mean when they said I'm never gonna wake up? And then she's like, you woke up, right? That's all that matters. Don't talk to me about this. And then a year later, she talked to me about astral body projection. It's like where like your soul leaves your body and whatever. And she started talking to me about like certain levels of things. There's like a low level with like only shadow things, and it's like you're not supposed to talk to them, and like they only, what's it called, spared my life simply because I was so young. My room is really weird right now. But yeah, they spared my life simply because I was so young, and like they let me go. But like they don't always do that, so I could consider myself lucky. And then she started talking to me about a bunch of other weird, creepy things. And then I'm like, oh my god, this is legit not cool. But yeah. But then I woke up, and so much things has happened in my life, and not in a good way. But the scary part is, there was a chance that I could have not have woken up. I mean, some of you might be like, crap, why did you wake up? But others of you might be, oh, good thing you did wake up. But then my grandmother also started talking to me about like exactly what happened, and I know it's not gonna sound as scary as in when it actually happened, like in the words, because this is just a story. And many of you might be saying, dude, you were just dreaming, whatever, but legit, it wasn't just a dream. It was sleep paralysis, astral body projection, accidental BS, whatever. But yeah, that was my story. I hope you guys enjoyed watching this video. If you did, give it a like, subscribe for more, Instagram, Twitter, Facebook, Tumblr, follow me on that. I'm legit extremely tired right now. And I hope to see you guys in another video. Peace out.